Its immediate effects of excessive choice is something called analysis paralysis. When too many options are available, we tend to freeze. We second-guess ourselves, overthink every detail, and delay taking any action. Instead of choosing and moving forward, we stall. This can apply to picking a university, a job offer, or even which book to read next. The more we deliberate, the more we fear making the wrong decision, and with that fear comes anxiety. But there's another side effect: regret. Even after finally making a choice, we often don't feel relief. We feel unsure. We keep wondering if another option would have been better. This mental comparison robs us of satisfaction. We don't enjoy what we chose, because we're too busy imagining what we didn't. This is called opportunity cost, and the more options we have, the more imagined losses we carry. Ironically, more freedom ends up making us feel more trapped. Now consider this on a societal level. Social media, online shopping, digital dating apps, all of them provide near infinite options. Swipe, scroll, shop again and again. We've created a world where endless options are available in seconds, but instead of joy, it often leaves us feeling disconnected, indecisive, and numb. When every profile, every product, every opinion is just one click away, how do we know when to stop looking? When do we feel content? We're not just facing the paradox of choice, we're drowning in it, and it's not just about what we consume. It's about how we live. Young adults delay careers, marriages, even having kids, not from fear, but from being overwhelmed. With endless paths available, choosing one feels like closing every other door, and that pressure is crushing. But it doesn't have to stay this way. There are ways to regain clarity and peace in a world overflowing with options. One of the most powerful solutions is embracing satisficing a decision-making strategy, where you choose something that meets your needs, instead of hunting for the perfect option. Research shows that satisficers tend to be happier, less anxious, and more decisive than perfectionists. They make a choice, accept it, and move forward. Another technique is limiting your options on purpose. Instead of browsing dozens of shows, pick from your top 3. Instead of comparing 5 job offers, focus on 2 that truly align with your values. By creating boundaries, you reduce stress and increase satisfaction. Routine is also your ally. Automating small daily decisions, like what to wear or eat for breakfast, preserves your mental energy for more meaningful choices. This is why successful people like Steve Jobs or Barack Obama wore the same outfits. Often it wasn't laziness, it was strategy. Mindfulness can also help. When you're grounded in the present, you tune in to what really matters. You start choosing based on intuition, not fear of missing out. You feel more certain, not because the world offers fewer options, but because you're more in tune with yourself. Ultimately, the paradox of choice isn't about removing options, it's about changing our relationship to them. When we shift from chasing perfection to trusting our values, from endless comparison to clear boundaries, we reclaim our power. So next time you find yourself stuck between choices, whether it's peanut butter, partners, or purpose, ask yourself, what aligns with my needs, not just my wants? What path feels enough, not perfect? The freedom isn't in having everything. The freedom is in knowing what to leave behind. And that might be the most empowering choice of all. Burden. Every choice we make defines us. And every path we don't take closes a door. This weight of responsibility can become overwhelming, leading to fear, hesitation, and regret. Søren Kierkegaard described this feeling as the dizziness of freedom, the unsettling sense we experience when faced with too many possibilities and no clear direction. This existential pressure shows up in everyday life more than we realize. A college student unsure of what to major in, a 30-something switching careers again, chasing purpose. A couple breaking up, not because of incompatibility, but because maybe there's someone better out there. In our pursuit of the perfect choice, we forget that perfection doesn't exist. And worse, we confuse freedom with fulfillment. Just because you can choose anything doesn't mean you should. The human mind craves clarity, not chaos. Boundaries and limits, when consciously chosen, don't restrict us, they liberate us from the exhausting cycle of doubt. This is where the practice of intentional living becomes crucial. It's not about reducing life to fewer options, but about filtering choices through your values. When you know what truly matters to you, peace, growth, authenticity, decision-making becomes lighter, the noise fades, and the path becomes clearer. Take minimalism. For example, it's not just about owning less stuff, it's about making fewer, more meaningful decisions. A minimalist doesn't look at 30 pairs of shoes and wonder what to wear. They have 3 pairs, each chosen with care. That clarity reduces stress and amplifies joy. The same goes for relationships. In a world of swipes and likes, the idea of the one can seem outdated. But deep down, most people don't want infinite options. They want connection. And connection thrives in focus, not distraction. Choosing one person fully is riskier. Yes, but it's also more rewarding. Even in careers, clarity comes from commitment. It's tempting to keep doors open to explore and explore and explore, but at some point, exploration must lead to expression. Real satisfaction comes not from endless options, but from going deep in one path and giving it your full self. So, what's the way forward? First, accept that choices will always involve trade-offs. You can't have it all, and that's okay. Every choice made with intention is a step toward meaning. Second, create personal filters. What are your top 5 values? What kind of life feels aligned with your core self? Use those as your compass. Third, embrace good enough. Not every decision has to be perfect. Sometimes, the best choice is the one that brings peace, not perfection. Lastly, give yourself permission to move. Don't wait forever. Don't stall in the illusion of infinite freedom. Choose, act, and adjust. Remember, freedom isn't about keeping every door open. It's about walking through the right ones with courage and trust. And if you feel lost, that's not a failure. It's part of the journey. Because, in the end, the real gift isn't in having a million choices. It's in becoming someone who knows what to do with them. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of potential partners. On the surface, it feels empowering. Swipe left, swipe right, keep looking until you find the perfect match. But beneath the surface lies a growing sense of emptiness. Because when you're always wondering if there's someone better just one swipe away, real connection becomes harder to build. Commitment starts to feel risky. People ghost, flake, or keep options open. Not because they're cruel, but because they're overwhelmed by possibility. The same issue shows up with streaming services. You sit down to relax, open Netflix, and spend 45 minutes scrolling through hundreds of shows only to give up and watch reruns. The overload of options becomes a barrier to enjoyment. The promise of endless entertainment ends in dissatisfaction. Why does this happen? Because every new choice brings not just opportunity but potential regret. The more paths you see, the more you feel the weight of not choosing the right one. And so we hesitate. We second guess. We replay past decisions in our heads like a loop that never ends. At its core, this isn't just about technology or modern life. It's about our relationship with freedom. We've been taught that ultimate freedom means infinite options. But existential philosophy says something different. Real freedom isn't about having every door open. It's about walking through one door with awareness and responsibility. Jean-Paul Sartre believed that freedom was not a gift, but a burden. You are free to choose, but that means you are also responsible for what follows. There's no external blueprint, no divine script. You create your meaning. That's both empowering and terrifying. But here's the truth. Avoiding decisions doesn't protect you. It just keeps you stuck. Every decision you avoid is still a choice. Every moment spent in indecision is time you don't get back. And waiting for certainty. That's a trap. Certainty is an illusion. Clarity comes after commitment, not before it. So what can we do? How do we live with this dizzying freedom without being crushed by it? Start small. Practice making decisions based on your values, not your fears. Define what matters to you: growth, peace, connection, and let that guide your choices. You don't need to make the perfect choice. You need to make a choice and commit to learning from it. Limit your options when necessary. Set boundaries. Create routines. Give yourself permission to choose something good enough instead of waiting for perfection. And above all, remember, a fulfilled life doesn't come from having it all. It comes from giving your all to what you have. Choosing one path means letting go of others. That's not failure, that's freedom. Because when you finally commit, you stop asking what if, and start discovering what now. And that's where life begins. Not in the endless scroll, not in the infinite possibilities, but in the messy, meaningful reality of choosing, acting, growing, and trusting that even if it's hard, even if you change course later, your path is still yours. The real burden isn't choice, it's the fear of choosing wrong. Let go of that fear, and you'll find something far more powerful than perfect outcomes. Peace in motion becomes exhausting and overwhelming. This is why even small decisions like picking a snack or choosing a playlist start to feel like monumental tasks after a long day. Our mental energy is finite, and each additional option chips away at our ability to choose with clarity. This is especially visible in our daily routines. You open your fridge, stare at 10 meal options and end up ordering takeout. You scroll through endless TV shows and watch none. You research every laptop on the market, only to end up closing all the tabs and making no purchase at all. When choices multiply, our satisfaction with any one decision tends to shrink, not grow. This is the paradox of modern life. We are surrounded by endless options, each promising a better outcome, yet we often feel more lost than ever. Instead of clarity, we get confusion. Instead of joy, we experience the constant pressure to optimize every moment. And with every choice comes the fear of making the wrong one. In the age of social media, this pressure only intensifies. We're not just choosing what to do, we're choosing who to be. Our identities are curated through Instagram, bios, career updates, filtered photos, and lifestyle choices. Everyone seems to be living their best life, and that illusion makes it feel like we're doing something wrong. Should I be more spiritual, more successful, more aesthetic? These identity-based decisions feel high stakes, but the reality is, nobody's got it all figured out. So how do we protect ourselves from the weight of too much choice? Start by embracing limitation. Freedom doesn't come from having every path open. It comes from walking one path with purpose. When you narrow your focus, you reduce anxiety. You give your energy a direction. That clarity is more freeing than you think. Learn to satisfice instead of maximize. Satisficers make decisions that are good enough and move forward. Maximizers obsess over every detail, hoping to find the absolute best and often end up less satisfied. Research proves that people who satisfice feel less regret and more peace. Letting go of perfectionism doesn't lower your standards. It protects your joy. Next, build rituals and boundaries into your life. Routines reduce the number of decisions you need to make. They free up mental energy for the choices that actually matter. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day, not because he lacked style, but because it saved him from decision fatigue. The other hand will spend weeks comparing specs, reading reviews, and watching endless YouTube comparisons only to end up feeling unsure even after the purchase. They might still wonder if a better deal was out there, or if a newer model was just around the corner. The result? Less joy, more regret. Now apply this to life. When we treat every decision like it has to be perfect, we rob ourselves of the ability to feel satisfied. This constant pursuit of the best steals our time, drains our mental energy, and leaves us chasing a mirage. The truth is, good enough is often more than enough. Take everyday decisions like what to wear, what to eat, or what movie to watch. These shouldn't take up an hour of our lives. But they do, because we're trained to maximize. We scroll through endless menus, change outfits 3 times, or browse for 40 minutes, just to watch something we've already seen. The time and energy we lose in these micro-decisions could be used for something that actually fulfills us. This is why creating routines, setting limits, and embracing structure can be life-changing. When you reduce trivial choices, you free your brain to focus on what truly matters. You don't need 50 outfit combinations every morning. Have a go-to set of clothes that makes you feel good. You don't need to scroll through 200 shows, create a watch list, and stick to it. It's not about being boring, it's about preserving your energy for the decisions that really shape your life. Another powerful tool is the concept of commitment. While it may sound counterintuitive, committing to one path, whether it's a career, a relationship, or a personal goal, can actually bring more freedom. Why? Because commitment removes the constant noise of what if. It gives you the mental space to grow, to deepen your experience, and to build something meaningful. Too often, we think keeping our options open will protect us. But in reality, endless options create fear, not freedom. We become so scared of missing out that we end up missing everything. We chase the next best thing, and never stop to enjoy what we already have. So how do we break the cycle? First, recognize when you're overthinking. Catch yourself in those moments where a small decision is taking too long. Then shift your mindset. Ask yourself, is this good enough? If the answer is yes, go with it. Move forward. Second, set boundaries. Limit your options where you can. Decide your meals for the week. Choose 3 outfits and rotate them. Create a fixed budget for tech upgrades. These small constraints actually make your life feel lighter, not heavier. Third, practice gratitude for your choices. Once you decide, focus on what's good about your decision instead of what you might be missing. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to regret. Finally, remember that the goal is not to eliminate choice, but to take control of it. When you simplify where you can, commit where it counts, and let go of perfection, you start to feel more present, more peaceful, and more alive. In a world that constantly screams more. The boldest choice you can make is to say enough. Enough comparing. Enough doubting. Enough chasing the perfect option. Choose with intention. Live with clarity. And find freedom not in more choices, but in fewer, better ones. The idea that too much choice undermines happiness, not enhances it. We believe that freedom lies in having endless options, but the truth is freedom comes from clarity, from commitment, from narrowing down, not expanding out. Letting go of perfection doesn't mean lowering our standards. It means choosing what matters most, and allowing ourselves to live with those choices without endlessly looking over our shoulder. Imagine if every morning you could wake up and not stress over what to wear, what to eat, or what to post. That simplicity creates space for creativity, purpose, and joy. Choice fatigue is real. Studies have shown that the more decisions we make throughout the day, the worse our judgment becomes. This is why many CEOs and creatives adopt decision-simplifying habits. It's not about fashion or laziness, it's strategy. A consistent breakfast, a limited wardrobe, a set bedtime. These small, repeatable decisions build structure, and structure reduces noise. And with that mental clarity, we make better choices on the big things: who we love, what we build, where we grow. Another effective trick: decision boundaries. Instead of letting a choice stretch on forever, put a timer on it. If you're booking a trip, give yourself a 1-day window. Shopping online, 10 minutes, max. If you can't decide what movie to watch within 5 minutes, go read a book. These rules sound rigid, but they set you free. They force you to act, rather than swirl endlessly in your thoughts. We also need to stop treating every decision like it's a life or death moment. The truth is, very few are. You won't ruin your life by picking the wrong takeout tonight, but you will lose peace of mind by obsessing over it. The 80-20 rule reminds us that only a few decisions truly move the needle. Focus there. If it won't matter in 5 years, don't give it 5 hours of your day. Now let's talk about FOBO, the fear of better options. It's the silent killer of joy. You finally buy something, but can't enjoy it. You meet someone great, but hesitate to commit. You land a good job, yet scroll LinkedIn wondering if there's something better. This mindset traps us in limbo, always wondering, never arriving. The antidote is gratitude, not just the fluffy Instagram kind, but real, grounded appreciation. Pause and look at what you already have. The roof over your head, the people who show up, the moments that go unnoticed. Gratitude grounds us in the present and silences the noise of what if. Because once we start to appreciate what we've chosen, we stop fearing what we might have missed. Decision-making isn't just a skill, it's a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger with use, and weaker with overuse. You don't want to waste that strength on picking socks or comparing sandwich deals. You want it ready when real choices arrive, ones that shape your future, your character, your story. So what's the takeaway? Stop chasing the best. Choose good enough and make it great through intention and gratitude. Limit your options. Create rules that free your mind. Focus on the choices that truly matter. Practice contentment, even in a world shouting that you're missing out. Because happiness doesn't come from having it all. It comes from knowing what to let go. Trap of too many choices. The solution isn't to eliminate choice, it's to manage it wisely. We discovered that simplifying decisions, creating structure, and committing with intention are the keys to reducing stress and finding deeper satisfaction. Instead of chasing every opportunity, we learned the value of prioritizing what truly matters. The 80-20 rule taught us that most of our happiness comes from a small number of impactful decisions: our relationships, our health, our personal growth. When we invest our time and energy in these areas, the noise of trivial choices fades away. We also explored the difference between two types of decision makers: maximizers and satisficers. Maximizers exhaust themselves, trying to find the absolute best in every situation, always comparing, always doubting. Satisficers, on the other hand, make a choice that's good enough and move forward with peace of mind. Research shows that satisficers tend to be more content, less stressed, and more confident in their lives. And what about the fear of better options phobia? It may sound harmless, but it slowly chips away at our joy. When we're always wondering if something better is around the corner, we never appreciate what's right in front of us. The cure: gratitude. Not in a vague spiritual sense, but in a real, grounded way. A conscious choice to value what we have, rather than constantly seeking what we don't. The truth is, we don't need more options. We need better focus. We need to be okay with choosing a path and trusting it. We need to stop seeing decisions as traps and start seeing them as opportunities to grow, learn, and commit. Life will always involve risk. Every decision comes with uncertainty. But that doesn't mean we have to live in fear of making the wrong one. There's wisdom in narrowing your field of vision, in cutting out the noise, in saying, "This is enough." Because freedom isn't about having every option. It's about knowing which options don't matter. In the end, more choices don't make life richer. Meaning does, connection does, purpose does. And none of those require infinite options, just the courage to choose and move forward without looking back. So next time you're staring at a menu with 50 items, or scrolling endlessly through job listings, or stuck between two paths in life, pause. Ask yourself what really matters. Strip away the illusion of perfection. Trust that you don't need the best option. You just need the right one for you, right now. Because fulfillment isn't found in what we might have had. It's found in what we choose to build with what we do have. Let's stop drowning in the sea of possibilities. Let's start sailing. The paradox of choice isn't about how many doors are open. It's about how afraid we are to walk through any of them. Barry Schwartz offered a clear path through the chaos. Stop maximizing, start satisficing. Stop hunting endlessly for the best of the best. Choose what's good enough, and trust that the rest will fall into place. This isn't settling. It's reclaiming your time, your focus, your peace of mind. When you spend hours obsessing over the perfect laptop, the best restaurant, the ultimate career path, you burn out. Your brain becomes a battlefield of what-ifs. And in the end, even if you make a decision, you don't enjoy it. Because doubt is still whispering in the background. But what happens when you say, "This is enough"? You take control, you silence the noise. You stop chasing the mirage of perfection, and start living in the reality of progress. Satisficers understand something that maximizers don't. Peace doesn't come from having the best, it comes from valuing what you have. And it doesn't stop with products or purchases. It's every area of life. Careers, relationships, personal growth. If you're always looking for the better option, you'll never fully commit to anything. And without commitment, there's no depth, only surface-level experiences and constant fear of missing out. Let's talk about decisions. Big ones, small ones. Most of us are drowning in them, from choosing what series to watch, to what path to take in life. But not every decision deserves your full attention. That's where time boxing comes in. Give yourself a limit. 10 minutes to pick a restaurant, 1 day to choose between job offers. The longer you deliberate, the more you second guess. Action beats anxiety. Another underrated hack: automate the trivial. Successful people do this all the time. They wear the same outfit every day. They eat the same breakfast. Not because they're boring, but because they're smart. Every small choice you eliminate saves brain power for the ones that count. Gratitude is another weapon against choice overload. When you stop focusing on what you don't have, you start appreciating what you do. The phone in your hand may not be the newest. Your job might not be perfect. But is it enough? Can it serve your purpose right now? Gratitude shifts your lens. It grounds you in the present instead of chasing illusions, and here's the truth no one talks about. Perfection is a lie.